Welcome back to the Girlfriend Doctor Show. It is Dr. Anna Cabeca, and I'm glad to be here with you. Now, if you're watching this, you can watch it on YouTube. Definitely subscribe. But I have a beautiful, lovely person here with me today. And this woman I have known for now 25 years is my daughter, Amira. And she's going to help me because we got on a lot of questions. When I did the series of master classes on balancing hormones, I had so many questions. And so there were really several questions that were asked again and again and again. So I wanted to take the opportunity during this podcast to answer many of those questions for you. So we're going to get started. Amira's going to go ahead and share with me the questions. But first of all, if you guys attended the master class, it was amazing. The camaraderie, the chat, the connections that were made were really, really powerful. And for those that joined my Magic Menopause program, watching you guys transform has been a gift. It has really re-energized me as well. So I want to thank you for taking one. It's often, that's it, one next right step at a time. And we just keep building from there with good disciplines and habits and practices. So, Amira, what were some of the questions that we kept getting over and over?
Okay, so I kind of had them in a timeline for you as well to help guide your listeners as well. So, first question, so we're going to dive right on in. What are the first signs of perimenopause that people should look out for?
Yeah. So I think what I saw as a gynecologist coming into my office and what I see currently clients when they start coming in with symptoms of menstrual irregularity,
Mhm.
or breakthrough bleeding, heavier than normal periods, PMS symptoms, so mood swings or anxiety the week before their cycle.
Mhm.
And you've heard me say this before, but if you only hate your partner 2 weeks out of the month, that's probably your hormones, not necessarily your partner.
Yeah.
So with perimenopause, also brain fog,
Mhm.
again, the changes to the menstrual cycle, consider the period as another vital sign. It tells us so much about what's happening to our body. How do we feel during our period? How heavy is it? How long is it lasting? How short is it? How frequent are they? And those are important things to take care of. Now, I understand many of you are listening and you're like, oh, it's been years since I've had my period. I am with you. It has been now over 2 years since I've had my period, and I went through menopause at 56. So it is
I
nice
know.
to reflect. And then I think of my daughter, and when I want to check in with her, it's like, well, how's your period going? How's your
Mhm.
menstrual cycle? Because that's where we have to make interventions and keep hormones balanced right away.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Every time you're always like, when did you start your period? Is it on time? Is it irregular? Let's figure out what to do. I
yeah.
know I hate that I can't steal your tampons or pads anymore.
Uh, yeah, right. Not buying them.
Yeah, exactly. It's on me. Okay, so that is a within our menstrual cycles and everything for birth control. What is your thoughts on birth control during menopause, during perimenopause?
Yeah. So oftentimes people will go through perimenopause, and because of the symptoms, like the mood swings, the
Hmm.
irregular cycles, they'll often be put on a birth control pill. And they'll say, okay, we just knock out your period. But whether you need it for birth control or not, partner could have had a vasectomy, you could have had your tubes tied, whatever, a number of things. But birth control is never a good hormone replacement option. So birth control pills, that is. And so for birth control, my favorite regimen, if you want permanent birth control, is he gets a vasectomy. That's a really good option. But for
Easier.
us as women, I know for myself, I like the non-hormonal IUD. It's my preferred choice to recommend to clients because it's 99.99% effective. And it prevents the sperm and egg from meeting. So the Paragard or the Copper T non-hormonal IUD is a very good option that way. Do recommend you supplement with zinc when you have it. So because copper zinc ratios have to be balanced. So that's one thing. And yeah, and otherwise also for clients too, not besides that birth control, of course, protection with condoms.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you still recommend that because a lot of women keep asking, like, do I still need birth control during perimenopause, menopause? But
You can have well, after menopause, it is unlikely to get pregnant, right? It is unlikely. Once the FSH, if you're doing cycle day 3 labs, once the FSH is greater than 40 and, the LH and FSH are greater than 40 or 50, then the chance for pregnancy is very, very rare. However, you know, listen to your body, get familiar with signs of ovulation.
Mhm.
And so in
Track always.
yeah, it's important to track, and it's hard to do a rhythm method in perimenopause because the cycles are so um, you know, are so different and irregular. So it's really important again to know your body, to use a form that consistently protects you. So whether it's an IUD, whether it's safe sex practices, condoms, spermicides,
Hmm.
or using, if you must, birth control pill. But,
Yeah.
you know, then if you're on birth control pills, if you're taking them for a reason, for birth control or for other reasons, then you do want to supplement with a very good activated B vitamin. So a multi B vitamin with methylated folate and a methylated B12 and the bioavailable forms of all the Bs, especially B6, is really important. And also minerals such as magnesium. It's critical for healthy hormones, and the
Hmm.
birth control pills can deplete magnesium.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I know. I've never been on birth control pills due to you and your colleague's science, so I've never had to. I had the copper IUD, but
Mhm.
okay. But moving away from birth control pills during perimenopause and menopause, so what are the first signs that is starting for someone, and when does it typically start for them? When should they expect for a
Yeah.
natural menopause, and usually how long are you in this second spring of your life?
Yeah. So according to, our reproductive endocrinology colleagues, Dr. Spiroff wrote in his reproductive endocrinology book that menopause on average is age 52. I see sources quote now age 51. And that is in non-smokers. It is 10 years earlier in smokers. It's also earlier in people who have had endometriosis, a diagnosis of endometriosis. And so paying attention to that it's important. But the average age is 51 or 52, plus or minus 10 years for perimenopause symptoms. So like the symptoms of menopause, the mood swings, the hot flashes, the regular heart beat, skipping a beat, or palpitations, joint pain, stiffness, um, skin changes, hot flashes, mood swings, the menstrual changes, weight gain without doing anything different. All those are real signs. And brain fog, difficulty sleeping, insomnia. So many of those are menopausal, perimenopausal
Hmm.
symptoms. If you are experiencing those, it's time to really work with balancing our body. And that's what, I'm taking now over 200 women through Magic Menopause.
It's an amazing group. The biggest group
Yeah.
we've ever had, I think, we have over 260 women that are
Yeah.
joining us.
And they're doing amazing. But it's that, and
Mhm.
they're communicating with each other because we
Mhm.
also have so many alumni that come back to participate
I
again.
know.
So that really helps. They're an amazing alumni community too. But just following the principles. So we start with getting Keto Green. And again, so many free resources on my website at dranna.com. So there's free recipe downloads. You can start following some of the Keto Green principles right now.
Mhm. Yeah, so we're going to get into all those. The list of cues is basically all the symptoms. The burning questions are revolving around sleep, hot flashes, weight management, all like alternate sources for hormone replacement, and also brain fog. A lot of people are wondering, is it true? Is it not? So we're going to go first into why is what is this? Sorry, I read it weird.
And
Sleep.
then I know there were testing questions too, so we'll definitely hit some of those
Okay.
hormones and testing. Yeah.
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. Always. So what are the common sleep problems during menopause and why are there so many?
Okay. So sleep problems during menopause. Often it is the, let me say, when a client comes in, I always ask them about how many hours are you getting of sleep a night? Are you sleeping through the night? Do you wake feeling rested? So I answer, I ask all those questions. So I'll ask you to answer that too. But typically we want to hear seven, at least 7 hours of sleep a night. I wake up feeling rested and refreshed, energized for the day, and I sleep solidly through the night. That is key. What happens in perimenopause because of the decline in progesterone initially, it causes a decline in tryptophan, which is necessary for serotonin and melatonin. Melatonin are signaling neurotransmitter to help us get a good night's sleep, rest and restore. And so as progesterone starts to decline, actually beginning our mid 30s, um, and it declines 75% by the time from age 35 to 55. So it's a significant decline in progesterone. So when this is happening, because of that decline in progesterone, you often get difficulty falling asleep and difficulty staying asleep,
Yeah.
as well as waking up at 3 a.m. I hear this so often,
Mhm.
waking up 2, 3, or 4 a.m. and, having a difficult time getting back to sleep. So those are very common symptoms. So in order to address this, first you want to, again, multifactorial. A good night's sleep starts with a good morning ritual.
Mhm.
And we have a whole module in Magic Menopause where we go into this.
Mhm.
But first, it's like, okay, supplements that can help magnesium, progesterone, like my balance cream, or
Yeah.
and with prescribed oral progesterone, because oral progesterone converts to allopregnanolone derivatives, and that helps with deep sleep. And so clients feel sleepy and they typically will sleep through the night. So that combination is really good. And melatonin, taking sublingual melatonin. Inositol also helps. Inositol on B6 in the evening can help also with a good night's sleep. So those are some like just foundational supplements. But the whole, sleep routine, morning routine, all of that is critical.
Mhm.
Cold room, pitch dark,
I know now this cold front coming through, you can sleep with your
windows open.
windows open. It was so nice today. It was 69. I know sleep is so important through all stages of your life for healthy mental function, healthy bodily function, and
Yeah.
just great for focusing for your hormones. Okay, so and then also some women are wondering, are hot flashes inevitable or can they be managed naturally?
Hot flashes can definitely be managed naturally, for the most part.
Yeah.
So there are a couple reasons for hot flashes. The two main reasons are, well, three main reasons for hot flashes. So first is estrogen decline, estrogen insufficiency. That decline in estrogen or peaks and valleys in estrogen affecting our body's internal thermostat. And so because it also affects our thyroid function. So these peaks and valleys in estrogen. And so we can see those hot flashes in estrogen deficiency, as well as in the time when we're, you know, dropping estrogen levels rapidly. The other thing is insulin resistance. We were brainwashed to think 3 meals, 3 snacks is the ideal way, stay away from fats. And it's actually the opposite, right? It is 2 or 3 meals a day, keto green eating with intermittent fasting, no snacks, low carbs, maintain healthy glycemic control and healthy fats in our diet. We've got to rebuild back those cell membranes. And so insulin sensitivity is insulin resistance is associated with unrelenting hot flashes. This is why a study recently published in one of the scientific journals looked at women who had experienced hot flashes. The quantity of hot flashes and the duration of hot flashes, however many years, the higher those numbers were, and the higher the frequency of hot flashes and higher duration of hot flashes, the length of time they experienced it, was significantly associated with heart disease, increased risk of heart disease and diabetes. Why? Because the underlying insulin resistance. So creating that insulin sensitivity can get rid of hot flashes. Hormone replacement therapy definitely helps with that. And the third reason for hot flashes are hormone disruptors. It's like we take our cars in and get an oil change, right? We clean the filter, we replace the filters in our vents. When are we doing that for our liver, for our kidneys? So, detoxifying, fasting, supporting phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification nutritionally. the ingredients in Mighty Maca helps with that. My Keto Green detox capsules help with that. We just
Hmm.
have to think in these ways. And oftentimes just by, eliminating the toxic exposure and supporting our body's detoxification process clears up those hot flashes too.
Absolutely. You just kind of answered my next question as well. So, about weight gain during menopause as well. It's so important for that detoxification for your body, and then for detoxifying those hormones and estrogen. And Mighty Maca is so, it just has so many amazing effects from other women. So, what are some of your key points for managing weight gain during menopause? I know you have all your programs and everything, but for this recording and for our
Okay.
listeners, what are
So,
some
I
key
mean,
points?
seriously, with weight gain during period, you know my story. Like I
Yes.
was well over 240 pounds. I, was stressed, depressed. My hormones were a mess. I mean, really, it's a
Make a
big,
song out of
right?
that.
I mean, it's a reality. It was, it, I thought I was doing what I knew to do, right? But
Hmm.
it didn't work for my physiology. So really focusing on weight gain is because naturally as estrogen, progesterone, and DHEA levels decline, insulin and cortisol levels increase, and this creates that insulin resistance. So for, we can talk about this, of course I do, for hours and hours and hours, but just do the Keto Green 16 challenge. Get the simplest 16-day approach is Keto Green 16. That's my second best-selling book. Get Keto Green 16, go to my website, do the challenge, the 16-day challenge. It walks you through a 16-day video process, and it is amazing. I mean, you'll see, and we see like 80 to 95% improvement in all symptoms, definite weight loss in 100% of participants, just feeling better. So, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're on the drive right now, if you're driving right now, I would recommend downloading the Keto Green 16 audiobook. Is that an audiobook?
And listen while you're
Yeah,
driving.
listen while you're driving.
It
Only if
is,
you
but you
could
still
cook while
need
you're
the
driving too.
recipes. Yeah.
Like every, okay.
It is. It's a really good audiobook. I recorded both the Hormone Fix and Keto Green 16 in my own voice. I recorded them myself. The Hormone Fix I recorded in Connecticut. And that was really exciting because that was the first book that that was my first best-selling book. And yeah, so I was officially in a recording studio and that was amazing. So that was what, 2019, the Hormone Fix
Mhm.
came out. And then for Keto Green 16, you guys may remember that we were full on in pandemic mode. So we were all quarantined in the house, and I had this microphone, and I had to create a tent around it and
Oh my
soundproofing
goodness, I
myself
remember
in my
that.
closet. And I, with the Penguin Random House audiobook team,
Hmm.
they, coached me through, and I recorded Keto Green 16 because there's menus in there. There's other parts to download on the audiobook, but I recommend get the book. But you can definitely, the audiobook is great too. And just think, I recorded that during the pandemic.
Yeah, that was
Backstory.
crazy times.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you said if you hate your partner majority of the time, it's
2 weeks of the
2 weeks.
month. If it's a majority of the time, it's a partner problem.
It's a probably, yeah, okay. So how do we deal with mood swings and irritability throughout this?
How did I deal with it?
Um, you want it on? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I bought horses.
No, you did it with grace. It was very just being clear and messaging, like you even tell our ladies in the communities this, and you practice what you preached. You practice what you preached with us as well, that you told us like, okay, if I act this way, this is what's happening. You're just very honest and just guided us through your transitions. And if something was frustrating, whether it was work, hormones, or personal life, there was a transition, there was like kind of a guideline what you needed from us. If we needed to make you tea, if we made it, pour you a shot of tequila, what was what it
That
was.
is true, y'all.
Yeah, we always have a bottle. Okay, I think we transitioned, where is your tequila? We
No,
transitioned
no,
to
I'm not
mezcal. we're
drinking.
doing yeah we're doing leaning away from our alcohol right now, which is really great.
But one thing is very true is that initially, however, Ava was in elementary school, you were
Yeah.
in middle school, Amanda was in high school, and that's when I really discovered the Keto Green method because I
Hmm.
was gaining weight. I was frazzled. And you remember all three of you, three different schools, and
Yeah.
we were late getting out the door.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, let's drive through and get, pick up some coffee on the way to school. We're
Yeah.
late anyway. And I would do it because like I just
Hmm.
had a limited capacity. I mean, I just
Yeah.
felt like limited capacity. I was disorganized. And when I figured that out, again, everything was overwhelming me
Hmm.
at that point. And so this is over a decade ago. And so everything was feeling overwhelming. A single mom, your dad at the time, so my ex-husband had had a traumatic brain injury and
Yeah.
was in a coma. I mean, all of that, it's the perfect storm. And so
Hmm.
we were worried we were going to lose him. And I'm sole provider for my family, and I'm burnt out from practice. And I just knew God and family first had to take care of you guys. And then but the brain fog, the irritability, the mood swings, that feeling of overwhelm was impactful. And it was just that one, realization. And then, of course, the weight gain without doing anything different. That's really, honestly, the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. And I was like, okay, we got to look, right?
Hmm.
I'm going to, go down the pathway like I saw my mom suffer with the diabetes and the heart disease and surgery at age 52 for a bypass and
Yeah.
11 medications by the time she passed away, way too young and way too early. And so I'm going to go down that route. And so it was like, I just envisioned myself pulling myself up from from the bootstraps, so to speak, and, stopping that, like circling the well feeling that I'm just, continually spiraling downward. Right? So I had to change that trajectory. And that's what, when I have a problem, I pray, ask God for
Hmm.
guidance, and do my research. And that's how the Keto Green method was born, keto alkaline, Keto Green. And then I felt I had capacity. I remember very specifically one morning, like I remember like having to yell and get everyone out, like forget it, here's a quick smoothie out the door, or we'll
Hmm.
pick up drive through on the way to school or stop by the grocery store on the way to
Yeah.
school, get your lunches and everything. I mean, that's how disorganized it was. And then
Hmm.
I was like, oh, wait, I'm making breakfast for you guys. You're coming down school, ready for school already, dressed, a smile on my face. I remember you looked at me one morning and you're in middle school. So you're 15, 14, 15, and you're like, Mommy, I love you. And it was just like, and you were like, thank you. And that just that gratitude. We, as moms, it's such a gift to get gratitude from our children. But I was like, okay, I'm doing like I've changed.
Hmm.
Like nothing in our external environment changed,
Yeah.
but my physiology changed. And that radiated health
Hmm.
and balance. And, that was that's why I do this. That's why I share this information because it changed my life and it changed my relationship with you girls.
Yeah, it
And
really
then my
did.
capacity. Then it created
Hmm.
Jolva and got that done, created a book. That was the so in 20 I created the Magic Menopause program online in 2014. And then in 2018, I wrote my first book. And so that published in 2019 and then second book in 2020. I mean, it was just
Yeah, I remember
boom,
your
boom, boom.
process through all of
Right.
that. Yeah. Truly, like every time, even as a kid, you don't fully understand what you were going through in those times. Only, we could be a pain at times. We could, be there for you when you needed us. But it is the transition from seeing you making you would always have our za'atar and cucumber in the morning, like for our school in the morning, and then going through that rush where it was like we didn't have time for that because the mornings were important in the afternoon, in the evening. And then seeing it again when you were kind of present again. We used to always have to say, you're here, but you're not here.
Mhm.
And it was hard. And I know probably a lot of people can relate with that too, where it's you want to be present, you want to be there. Because I remember you were always wanting to be there for Ava, your youngest, but then you couldn't be there for her because you were trying to provide for us, you were trying to create a loving home and everything, and then seeing you went through that, and then seeing you
Undergoing all the
transition.
hormonal
Yeah,
changes. Yeah.
exactly. And you just truly like knowing now what I know now and reflecting all of that, you're just constant inspiration. When everyone says you have a badass mother, excuse my language, you are, and it's
Thank you.
it's impressive. And
Well, and it's not just me, right? We've now
Yeah.
led thousands of women through the method. So
Yeah.
the method works. And honestly, within two
Hmm.
weeks, I was feeling better.
Yeah. And
And I
hearing
was
those.
figuring that out, that combination of alkalinization, combination of increasing oxytocin, managing cortisol, really prioritizing the present moment with
Yeah.
gratitude.
Yes,
That
absolutely.
and of course the food and everything, but
Hmm.
and the supplements, but that I think really
Hmm.
was the shift I needed
Hmm.
and continue to work, continues to be a discipline to stay in the present moment.
Yeah, you would always say, "Did you say your morning words of affirmation today?" Because that's a great way. You have to love yourself in order to face on the world. You never know what you're gonna
Show
face
up
in
with
that.
love.
Yeah, show up with love always. Love and peace.
Yeah,
Um, I know. So those are also
that's
some,
really good question. Let's
I
see
know,
here.
so many good
I
questions.
know we're getting really personal, you guys.
Come along with us
We'll
on our
answer a couple
journey.
more questions, then I think we'll have to come back for a part two.
Yeah, part two would be great. So I'll just kind of jump into another question along with this. So lifestyle changes. So
Yeah.
we're talking about, how to deal with the mood swings and irritability, but also implementing those lifestyle changes that you did talk about to help you
Yeah. So
through
one thing,
menopause.
like one thing to really recognize now at age 58, that staying active is the most important lifestyle change that you can make.
You're so impressed. Okay, hold on. Just
Is
shout out for Dr. Anna right now for even coming back from an event. She gets home late, 3 a.m., wakes up at 6 a.m., even though you need to follow your sleep, okay? But she worked out, she did her boxing routine. You're waking up every morning before you go to clinic and engage with patients all day, and you're doing your workout. It's just like, okay, I need to go make my appointment for my hot yoga and do my workout, do my meditations in the morning because it is so important
yeah.
for that. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
So no,
Interrupt.
but with that said, it's a discipline and a practice.
Yes.
It's not something I've ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, I'm always happy when I'm done working
Hmm.
out, but it's not like, yay. So, but it's a discipline and practice. And the thing that really shift most recently is that I said, and I journaled this, I will keep my commitment to my workout schedule. I will keep my commit. I will not cancel. I will not make excuses. I don't care what time I get in. I'm just keeping the, I think one of the most important things we can do is keep promises that we make to ourselves. Keep promises we make to ourselves. And being active makes a huge difference. When I was walking the Camino de Santiago, well, first of all, when I decided to do the Camino de Santiago, well, I was always doing my workouts 3 or 4 times a week, but I wasn't walking.
Yeah.
And it is, like feet are so important. When you walk 20 miles in a day, you realize how important those feet are. But so, in order to, with a short amount of time before I went on the Camino de Santiago pilgrimage, I started walking every day, so a few miles every day, sometimes twice a day, and really, exercising my feet. But that, wasn't long. Really, honestly, it wasn't long enough. I didn't have blisters. I did amazing. I was able to do 100 miles in 7 days, 150 kilometers in seven
Amazing.
days. It was just amazing. But it was, having time to prepare ahead of time. What it made me realize was how important daily activity is. Because when I saw other people, white hair, beautiful lines and wrinkles, laugh lines, smile lines, um, and just limper and energetic and standing tall and strong and physically carrying backpacks and hiking the same distance I was hiking. I mean, that's inspirational and that's youthfulness. That's powerful. JJ says powerful aging. That is aging really powerfully. And so the lifestyle of creating an active lifestyle and doing things you love. One of my clients, I always tell clients, you've got to do oxyplay. And what's oxyplay? Oxyplay is things that increase oxytocin. So it can be sex, it can be laughing, it can be watching my Big Fat Greek Wedding movie, which always increases oxytocin. And so I would tell her, find something you like to do and start doing it. And
Hmm.
so she started dancing. She started, just taking a dance class and doing that. And that was powerful for her. And that was the thing that just she came in, she goes, I just feel so much better. I'm so in better moods. I'm so much happier. That's the power of positive lifestyle shifts. And because, again, we're in a, to be honest, a toxic world environmentally, mentally, that we have to like continually work to find the gifts in each day from a chance encounter, a conversation with a friend, being present, even with your pet, playing with your pet, taking time to do things that you enjoy is critical. So finding oxyplay every day is a powerful lifestyle change that we can make. So I think we did a really good. Thank you, Amira. You've been a great co-host today. So we will come back for part 2.
I know. For part
What?
2, we're
Yeah,
going
we're
to
going to
get
be talking.
into more of, we're going to get into intercourse, painful sex, vaginal
No one's going to
dryness.
come back now.
Yeah, and then we're also going to talk about some great alternatives for hormone replacement therapy, our libido, bone health, heart health. And then just again, we're going to hit brain fog and then we're also going to talk about a few lab testings that you recommend as
Okay.
well.
That sounds good. All right, everyone. Thank you guys for coming into this menopause Q&A. Common questions asked for menopause. We've covered a number of topics, and I am glad that you have written in and asked these questions or that you've showed up on my webinars or in social media. I am always looking to see what your feedback is, what your comments are. Where do you need help? That's what I want to know. So if you guys are listening to this, wherever you listen, please subscribe. Definitely subscribe on my YouTube channel so you get notified when we post a new video. And I look forward to seeing you again next week for more menopause and hormone Q&A.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Amira, for being here. She was great, you guys, right?
Learning.
Thanks for watching another episode of the Girlfriend Doctor podcast. Check out all the links below for more.